Welcome, my Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your work, career, and vocation read for July and August. I've been doing that all day. 2021. I am your reader, Angelo, Lyons. Mal for short. Professional witch. Professional intuitive. President of DrawingTheCircle Productions since 1998. The Archangel of Lyons, Angelo Lyons, but you can call me Mal. Virgo Sun, Jupiter, Uranus, Pluto, all there sitting in my second house, Leo rising that I am, and very happy to be serving you because I took a lovely little nap, yes. Yeah, I did the Leo read, and then I had a little lunch, and then I was listening to the Bald and the Beautiful, Trixie and Katya, and I fell asleep. It was lovely, so I am refreshed and ready to read, which is a lot of alliteration. Oh no, I hope I'm not stuck in that. Let's hope I am. So we are doing a 12-card spread, looking at your life purpose through the lenses of the 3 levels of power, work, career, vocation. There's a link in the description box, lecture by Carolyn Myss. These are her archetype cards. Carolyn Myss, PhD, author, Anatomy of the Spirit, Sacred Contracts, Entering the Castle, and on, Defy Gravity, all of which have been pivotal in my life. And you can use the 3 levels of power to look at all different aspects of your life, like lenses that you can pop in. In this case, we're looking at life purpose through these 3 levels. That video will explain a hell of a lot more of it than I can here and now, but whatever comes out of my mouth in explanation, I hope will suffice. It's a general read, you know all that. Check your other signs, right? Because sometimes your Venus sign, for example, right, like what it is you love in your relationship is going to be a little different than your Sun sign, but you take that as you want to. Otherwise, we are using 12 cards in this spread. All the decks that I read are in the bottom of the description box. And just to say, I have been doing work, career, vocation reads for clients for decades, no lie, right? As much as I'm known as the true love witch, and that is true love, I just did a video meditation for a true lover meditation. It was really, really lovely to do, made me cry on camera and off. But also, really, I've helped a lot of spiritual startups throughout, a lot of people trying to break away from let's say the muggle world into the magical world, and it's always been very, very clarifying. So let's get up in this gig. All the decks that I read are always in the bottom of the description box, along with other interesting links. And if you'd like to book me, just find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Social media is the easiest way. You can certainly email me at drawingthecircle@gmail.com, but give me a week because the spam game is nuts over there on Gmail. So I guess that's about it. All I can ask from anybody watching any of my readings is both feet on the floor. If you can, focus on your breath, if you will. I will do the same to get you the clarity, guidance, and grace that I can on this rather important aspect of life, right? Yeah, it's about your work in the world, your career, your creativity, and your calling, your vocation, your spiritual calling. But of course this has to do with your ability to pay your bills and all that jazz, Virgos that we are. Let's do this. Please take a nice deep breath. And ground. Here we go. I call upon my collective pantheons of angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters of life purpose through work, career, and vocation, and the higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above. Please, I need 3 Caroline Myss archetype decks for the 8th chakra aspects, the archetypes in play in the work, career, and vocation for the Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. We will start with work, survival, intuition, really influencing mostly the lower 3 chakras, how they navigate through the world, right? What they do to survive. The 8th chakra, the archetypal archetype for their career, heart, throat, 3rd eye, crown chakra dynamic, their passion, their hunger, their thirst, right? Their creative intuition, what's going on there in the 8th chakra of their career. And in their vocation, their spiritual calling, their mystical power, their visionary intuition, they're really the 8th chakra dynamic of the 8th chakra, what's going on in their calling. Now, you guys already know what these are. They're in the title. So let's see how brave you are. Well, that sort of is right on the nose. Woo! And bingo was his name-o. Now, all archetypes are neutral, and as wonderful as these sound in the light, or as toxic as they are in the dark, particularly the one for Vocation, the third one. But let's get up in it, and I will feel it, because the energy here actually feels pretty good, right? Like, I got to go with that empathic part. I'm also Pisces moon, so I got to kind of go with that. We've got the Virgin, and I'll say I mean, we're Virgos, right? So in the world, we've got the Virgo archetype, a feminine family archetype. Has nothing to do with gender. But maybe you can relate to this after this past year and a half, you think? The shadow attribute, fear of intimate union. Yeah, like, keep your fucking distance, pardon my French, right? It's like, yeah, no, no. Yeah, no, no. Yeah, no, no. Right? Fear of intimate union. Now, that's intimate union with other people, and sometimes it's just getting up close. Now, the fear of it is the issue, right? Certainly self-protection, clear boundaries, that's not it. But listen to the light you're shooting for here, maintaining symbolic purity of heart and spirit. And I can relate to that doing readings on YouTube. I won't dumb it down, right? I'm not gonna over edit myself. I'm not gonna pretend to be something. I'm gonna keep the symbolic purity of spirit, of my heart and my spirit, right? If I can't love doing this, that's why I've cut down the number of readings I do a day. I was burning out, right? And I wasn't able to put out quality. So that makes sense for me in terms of my work. So really think of that. The Virgin archetype has very little to do with your sex life. Just saying. That's really not what it's about. But like my perfect example of how the Virgin archetype shows up in my life. This is horrible, but it's true. At least I know my shadows, right? You want to torture me? Take me to karaoke. Ugh. I'm well trained. I was a trained singer, or good choreography done poorly. It's just like rake across the chalkboard, drive nails into my eyes. But the other one really is like, even if I'm at somebody's home and there's like a stick of butter in the dish and it has cuts in it, I'll like literally start from the other side. Or what in my family is called, what are you skeeving me? Yeah, skeeving you and your cut up butter, right? Very Virgo, very Virgin, loving that. That feels lovely, actually. Not the easiest thing in the world to do, right? To keep your symbolic purity of heart and spirit in the working world, how you survive. But that's okay, because you got the Wisdom family archetype in your career. Lovely, however, the shadow, right? Inability to commit to a path once found. And I don't know many Virgos like that. I mean, it could depend on your other, if everything else is, I don't know, Gemini and Sagittarius, every other planet, right? Inability to commit to a path once found. So you find a career path, something that really speaks to your soul, fulfills you creatively, but you're like, nah, I don't want to comment if you know what that's from. The light attribute, thirst for wisdom and truth wherever you are. And that is, again, very Virgo. Now, just remember, knowledge is not wisdom. Knowledge plus experience equals wisdom. So, this isn't the student. This is the seeker. And a lot of Virgos in their own career, I know a lot of Virgos who are self-employed, right? Willing to go it alone to find their own way. And it would make sense with that Virgin there as well. Now, it is a Wisdom family archetype, as I said, so I'm going to tell you something. Whatever you learned from any other job or occupation you might have had up to this point, the wisdom isn't gone. It's in you, right? You don't have to sit there and think about it. It is in you. I was trained in theater. You're shocked, don't be. And I modeled for a while, and I was a dancer and, a public speaker. And I mean, I'm doing all of that now. So it's all synthesized. So just know that the wisdom that you have is hardwired at this point. Because, and this is really important, and if you're going to get this card, please get it in the 8th chakra, the King archetype. Masculine family archetype, but the shadow, excessive feelings of entitlement. The only way that I know Virgos fall into excessive feelings of entitlement is when they're overworked. Right, when they gave everything and they're getting very little in return. And I don't know if that's entitlement or just that, but damn, where's mine? I put in where's my get back a little bit. But rulership without restraint, when you run your own deal, being king of your own mountain, you pick your metaphor there, that can be really, really toxic. And I live in the United States. The United States rebelled against a monarchy, so the king archetype doesn't do very well here for very long in the United States, according to Carolyn Mason. I'm down with that. But here's why I said if you're going to get it in the 8th chakra, your calling. Enlightened, benevolent leadership, benefiting those in your charge. So yeah, I am the president of Drawing the Circle Productions. If you were going to put that in a hierarchical, monarchical state, I don't know if that's a word, then yeah, that king of it. But really mystical, spiritual, that your calling is about leadership, but enlightened, benevolent rather than malevolent. And yeah, I know my nickname's in there. Sorry, not sorry. All right, very, very interesting. I mean, a Virgo in charge, we can micromanage and be very dictatorial. But, you know, with that seeker thing going on in your career there, you know, as long as you're like, okay, but what's the actual truth and wisdom here, right, going on inside of me, heart, throat, third eye, crown, and we're going to look at heart, throat, third eye, crown dynamic with Daughters of the Moon. Please take a nice deep breath. My goddesses of Earth and the sign of Virgo, please, 3 cards. In clarity for the Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading in their work. They've got the Virgin archetype in the 8th chakra. What's their heart, throat, third eye, crown dynamic for their work? What's going on in their career? With the seeker in their 8th chakra, right? That wisdom, family, seeker going on there. And in their vocation. The king archetype, really dangerous in its shadow, really magnificent and healing in its light. What is their heart, throat, third eye, crown? Their internal yin-internal experience on all of that. Let's look. Oh, all right. I get it. 2 major arcana and a minor arcana with the Virgin. You've got the Lover's card, and this is probably not about office romance. It's a little code wordy on the nose for me, personally, and not what I'm feeling here. The Lover's card is always about a life-changing decision, not just a choice, a decision. Choices have consequences, all of them do. But, you know, like I decided to have a little coffee before I did this, so, you know, waking up, but that I wouldn't be like a jackhammer machine gun all the way through, right? Which can happen with too much caffeine. But, you know, to say that's it, I'm making a decision to walk away from all of this and be a monk. That's a life-changing decision. And sometimes your choices are decisions and you don't realize it. So level of intensity, right? So there is a real... Think of it this way. Usually you see a male and a female, right? Adam and Eve on the tarot. So think of the male as the mind and the female as the heart. That is your yin and yang, right? Your throat chakra has to make the choice. And what do you do when they go in 2 different directions? Where the symbolic purity of your heart is saying, this isn't it. I can't put my heart into this. This is wrong. It's not right for me anymore. But the head says, well, yeah, but you know, what about the money? Numbers, right? How do you choose, right? How do you bring that into balance? So this could be a major decision in terms of what it is that you are doing, or certainly there might be, I mean, if you want to go the relationship angle, if that's happening for you, then that is really saying that inside of you, some one-on-one relationship, most likely romantic, is really shifting your perspective on your work in the world. And that does happen, right? You meet somebody and suddenly you realize, why am I killing myself at work? I want to explore this area of my life. And then there is that decision of how you bring that into balance. In your career, you got the seeker with the coyote woman. Coyote is half of the devil card in this deck, Daughters of the Moon. In other words, there are 2. The other one is oppression. This one's definitely about shadow work. The trickster, like this is the devil card not to be afraid of. The coyote woman, it's shamanic. I'm not even going to try and say the Native American name. I can see it spelled out in my head, but I'm going to try that on YouTube. But it is that trickster, and how often We sabotage ourselves. This can be the saboteur archetype to an extent, how we chase our own tails, but there is always a lesson. So you're learning something here, and you can, you know, I don't mind. I have pants on, don't worry. I have jeans on, right? See the shadow, right? So there's something here about shadow work for you. About maybe you have found a path here, but you're a little scared, it's a little kid word, a little scared of what that's going to mean to your career, particularly if somebody has walked into your life in that way. And you got a life-changing decision going on here in the physical, right? Lower 3 chakras, but in heart, third eye crown. We are looking at some fear here, some shadow stuff that needs to be dealt with, particularly some knowledge and experience that maybe has not quite alchemized itself into wisdom. So you seeking truth in this zone, right? Heart, third eye crown. Giving yourself the love that only you can give you, right? No one else can do shadow work for you. Yeah, sorry, you just can't hire that out, yeah? Okay, and this makes total sense. The king archetype in your 8th chakra. Now, this is your mystical power, right? Physical power, mental, emotional, and spiritual power, because it's crown chakra. This is mystical power involving the divine, the king, with the 2 of Pentacles. Balance. You try to balance your spiritual calling, which might be very, very high, with what it is that you're doing to make money or survive in this world. Now, I don't get paid for my work. That's corporate president, right? You think, oh, no, that's all the work that no one else can do in the company but me, the video editing. And eventually, someday, maybe I'll hire people to do that stuff. But I don't get paid for one lick of the scheduling or the social media work that just comes along with the biz nowadays, right? I'm a teacher and a healer and a reader and a writer, right? An artist as well as a healer there. So yeah, I do my best to juggle that every day. That I don't put myself to some crazy Virgo work ethic, burn myself out, and start phoning it in, right? That symbolic purity of the heart. I don't know, this is my read, but let's keep going. I try to keep myself out of them. Right? I am Leo rising, Virgo sun, Venus and Libra and Pisces moon. But it's nice that, yeah, we'll see. We will see what this is. Also, what I'm getting with that trickster is that you might not realize that you have gained wisdom from something just yet. Something that may have happened before that this situation in your physical world is triggering for you, to really kind of go deep inside yourself, you know, behind the castle wall. No one can see what's going on in your inside world, particularly Virgos, cross your legs, to really get some hidden wisdom in there. Might be scary, but it's there. Yeah. Let's see what's going on in the physical here. Lower 3 chakras, root, sacrum, solar plexus. Please take a nice deep breath. As I call upon my gods of earth and the sign of Virgo, Dionysus in particular. Please, God of ecstasy, God of wine, 3 cards in clarity for the Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. What does this look like in the physical world, or at least affecting the lower 3 chakras, root, sacrum, solar plexus, right? Either from the outside looking in at the Virgo collective here, or them looking through their eyes at some aspect of the physical. Can be some of that, can be all of that. Please, in their work, career, vocation, July, August 2021, they got the Virgin with the Lovers on the inner in their work. They've got the Seeker with Coyote Woman, the Trickster, half of the Devil card. Shadow work definitely indicated there. There's the outer. And in their vocation, they've got the King in the 8th chakra, 2 of Pentacles, balance, the bull leapers, running at it full steam ahead, grabbing it by the horns and flipping over it. Definitely a skill of balance and timing and precision, very Virgo. So please, what does that look like on the outside? In their, just one please, in their vocation. Yep, there we go. It's going to be one or the other. Let's look. Oh, okay, you got a double whammy. We'll get there. Like a virgin touched for the very first time today. You got the Virgin archetype here in the 8th, the Lovers, this decision inside, and 4 Pentacles on the outer. Keeping to yourself is a very Virgo card in that sense. That is definitely the vibe here. You're holding on to your coin. you're holding on to your money. You might well sense some competitive stuff going on here, at least competitive within yourself, feeling like, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if this is right for me anymore. And yeah, I was going to say, you don't really want to talk to anybody in the world about what's going on, particularly if this is a new love thing. And if it is an office romance, that could be in there too. So you trying to like keep your integrity on this one, your purity, symbolic purity of heart and spirit there. I could see that. Just be like, no, I'm good, thanks. Wonder Woman, yeah. In your career, you got the Seeker with Coyote with Two of Swords. Now, Two of Swords for me is not an indecision card. This is about gathering information. Right here we see two people with crossed swords with the third in the middle, kind of eyes closed, trying not to hear this. It can certainly be about, and we've got another two here, remember that Two of Pentacles, that this really is trying to go back and forth between two perspectives, but you really can't see what's over here when you're looking here, or vice versa. So there might be a lot of back and forth. And in the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, the Two of Blades, which is the Two of Swords, is analysis, yet a very Virgo thing we do, mentally ruled by Venus. We are an Earth sign, ruled by Mercury. Please don't cancel me over misnaming a planet. They don't mind. I'm sure they call themselves something else. So yeah, the shadow work is really important here. Like, really address your fears, because I think if you're afraid of repeating a pattern, there's maybe some leaded experience that needs to be alchemized into golden wisdom there, right? By really looking at it, if you find yourself saying, I don't know why this is just rubbing me the wrong way so much, it's because there's something inside of you, a real visceral intuition, even though it's heart, third eye, crown, right? Visceral is usually lower three chakras, but there is something here where you're really trying to nail it mentally, and that's part of that Lover's card. But then interesting that your heart, I won't say it's closed, but you're protecting it, and I feel like that's wise. But there might be some career wounds there to look at, and it's just a question of you, right? Because there's nothing to regret when you learned what you had to learn, right? When I learned my lesson, there's nothing to regret. Couldn't happen any other way. And in your vocation, the King and the Eighth, right? Juggling this, the balance. But I think this is the forerunner to the running of the bulls of Pamplona, Spain. It's women literally getting into an arena with these bulls, not killing them, but running at them, grabbing them by the horns and flipping over them. It's your second two. That's one of your double whammies here. Here's your third, the Lover's card. So you've got juggling and a life-changing decision here, trying to balance love, wisdom, and power. Aphrodite, Athena, and Hera at the judgment of Paris. The Greek hero, not the French city, just to clarify. Look it up. It's what started the Trojan War, that damn golden apple. That's why I don't eat golden apples. Like, golden delicious, give me red delicious. Red delicious apples are at least truth in advertising, because they are red and they are delicious. So, you know, you are absolutely, your spiritual calling, right? Your higher calling, your vocation, absolutely is being triggered physically by what you're doing in the world. And you're really trying to make a wise, loving, empowered decision here. But I don't see you letting go of the physical security of this anytime soon. What I do see is you really taking the time, and this is wise, to really do the internal work and say, well, what am I afraid of? If it's not just about the money. Because when we go against, when our own bodies tell us something's wrong here, I don't know what it is, it's worth taking the time to at least be a seeker and seek that out. Not that you're looking for trouble inside of yourself, but there are voices, I don't mean Sybil, hold your water, Sybil, but I mean, you know, like there are just parts that are trying to get your attention here. And remember, there's a divine trick in play with the coyote always. It's going to work out. It's just you're learning how your choices, and in particular your decisions, either empower or disempower you, and maybe others as well, right? Big decision here. And I'm going to say your point of power really does seem, at least with the cards on the table so far, seems to be in your vocation. I've been seeing a lot in these readings that is where the leverage point is to really get up into that benevolent leadership. Enlightened, whatever that means, and truthened, right? Last 3 cards. The Matcon Healing Mantra deck. There are 2 ways to read these. You can do both. One is if you just take the names of the mantras without the actual mantras themselves. They give you a message. Play around with them, switch them around. The other is the mantras themselves. You put them together into a paragraph, if you will, and you find a mantra that will bring all this together. Now, like anything else, mantra work or any spiritual practice or brushing your teeth, it's never a once and done. So take these in and may they serve. Please take a nice deep breath. Last 3 cards down, my beloved Ascended Masters of Work, Career, Vocation, the Ascended Masters of Life Purpose. Through those 3 levels of power, please. I need the perfect healing mantras for the Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. Please, what are the perfect healing mantras for them in their work? With that Virgin in the 8th, the Lovers on the inner, 4 of Pentacles on the outer, in their career. Seeker in the 8th, Coyote Woman, the Trickster on the inner, and 2 of Swords on the outer. So like trying to like look at all the stats like we do, right? Reading the reviews, maybe getting a little up in our heads about that too much, getting microscopic rather than just analytical. Because the fear will do that, right? If we're afraid, we're trying to avoid any possible trouble down the road, shooting ourselves in the foot maybe. Saboteur, right? Shooting ourselves in the foot. And with that King archetype in their 8th chakra for their vocation, 2 of Pentacles, there's a lot of juggling and a lot of balance here, right? Because there's big decisions on the table, because there we have the Lovers again there. On the outer, what's their perfect healing mantra? Work, career, vocation, July, August 2021. Well, this has come up a bunch of times. I don't write these down on the clipboard. Hearing inner guidance, right? So the Virgin, right? Kind of closing up for business, at least to the outside world, and kind of trying to find this Lover's balance inside. Well, hearing inner guidance. My intuition flows whenever I am still. And that's what I said. I don't feel like you're busting a move here anytime soon or letting anyone know anything that they are not supposed to know. Rather to what? Inner guidance, which is putting you where? Into your 2nd level of power, your career level here. You've got the Seeker, as I said, with the Coyote and this thinking back and forth. But with dissolving judgments, I don't have to like the actions of others in order to love my journey. I think you are really, really, really not liking something going down, if not in your workspace, maybe in your industry or in the company, or something that's just kind of rubbing you the wrong way, but you're not letting on. You're just going to, in the physical world, be still and know that there is guidance here. But with this, it's like, you don't have to like what anybody else is doing, right? This idea that in order to be spiritual, you have to like everything. No, dislike is often a form of intuition. Carolyn Myss, oh my God, she said this a long time ago in one of her lectures. She said that misery is a form of intuition. If you're really miserable in a situation, and I mean that's more long term, misery takes a while to build up if you let it, it's really telling you, your soul saying something's not right here. So I don't have to like the actions of others in order to love my journey. You're allowed to love your journey. You're allowed to love your career. You're allowed to be excited and move forward, not necessarily carefree. You could certainly consider, right, process the data there. You are the seeker here, so to speak, to find the pieces of truth and wisdom. But, you know, it's okay to say, this isn't for me anymore. It really is. Now, terrifying. What am I going to do? Well, interestingly enough, with the king here, as we said, with the 2 of Pentacles balanced, with balance and the lovers again, in the outer, you've got sharing shame. When I share my deepest pain, I give myself permission to be. to other people who may have like lots of options, they may not understand. And maybe it's not so much sharing shame as it is sharing fear. When I share my deepest pain, I give myself permission to be. Maybe you were in very abusive work situations before. Who needs to say it's only in work, right? A lot of times people play out early family dynamics in the workplace. Just happens all the time. That's why I think toxic bosses exist regardless of gender, right? Kind of bringing us back to the abuse, neglect, and codependence that we may not have dealt with in our families. But in terms of your calling, it may also be that you really want to work with people, right? Helping bringing them into balance, right? Almost like a counselor or a healer. Maybe you are a counselor and a healer. In terms of making that safe space that, you know, even when I do readings, you can see me do it on camera. Like, I'll tell you stories of myself. I practically get naked. Oh, yeah, go watch that True Lover video of meditation I did last night at the time of this recording, right? It's like I cry. It's just, here's my heart chakra for YouTube and the world to see. I wouldn't call that my deepest pain, but, you know, there is something about a king in balance, making the decision to be totally authentic, pure, and bring that into their world, right? And say, you know what? I am triggered. Something here does not feel right. And maybe I'm going against what everybody else wants me to do. But this is painful. This is painful. I feel like I'm being torn in half. And I have a very big decision to make here that's going to change the rest of my life. But I want to do it in a way that is enlightened and benevolent and leadership. Maybe showing people by example, right? Leadership, it ain't always Martha Ray. Did I say Martha Ray? No, Martha Ray was from the Bugaloos. God, what is that movie? Sissy Spacek. Oh my God, I just totally blank. Martha Ray, Hollywood's Big Mouth. Oh my God, why can't I remember the name of it? It'll come to me. Please comment below, of course, by the time you... Martha Ray. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Sissy Spacek, if you can hear me. She's still alive. Why can't I remember the name of that movie? Yeah, well, I took a nap, as he said. Let me put this together for you in a blessing like I do. Oh, I got my cords right here. I like my blessing cords. I'm going to do this. Knocking shit across the table. Please. Both feet on the floor. And as always, please take a nice deep breath. If that's going to bother me, I may have to Google it as soon as I'm off camera. Breathe. Here we go. My collective pantheons of the divine, please. May the Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, watching this video, receiving this reading, be blessed with all that they need in their work, career, vocation, that they may be the enlightened, benevolent leadership of the King, benefiting those in their charge as they come into this balance within themselves, really feeling this out with the wisest choices they can make right now in terms of a life-changing decision, to make those choices and decisions in congruency with love, wisdom, and power, so that they may be a safe space to share pain, their own or hearing someone else's, because when they share their deepest pain, they give themselves permission to just be. That in their career, they can find that thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are, and really commit to that in terms of the truth of what's going on inside of them. Like, what is their pain, their shame, their discomfort that is haunting them, the shadow stuff, the unfinished business within them that is probably making it so hard for them to tap into their heart chakras that they're all up in their heads, which happens to everybody, but Virgos and Geminis, the Mercury ruled, tend to be doing that a bit more in general in life, regardless of planetary alignments going on in the sky at any moment, so that they can dissolve judgments, understanding that they don't have to like the actions of others in order to love their career journey, so that in their work they can maintain the symbolic purity of heart and spirits that Virgos are known for. Again, contemplating making the wise, most loving, empowering decision for themselves, and that will benefit everyone else because they're not really sharing that with anybody else. And maybe they do need to guard their heart, protect their dream, protect their decision, and not let on while they are hearing inner guidance, their intuition flowing whenever they are still hearing guidance, dissolving judgments, sharing shame, their intuition flows whenever they are still. They don't have to like the actions of others in order to love their journey, and when they share their deepest pain, they give themselves and everyone else permission to be, because shadows can only exist in silence. So may they receive all that they need to heal, to grow, to learn, to evolve, to become the best that they can be as the king, seeker, virgin in this world, for their well-being and service to everyone around them in the most healthiest, most uplifting way, and of course for the well-being of all. So mote it be, and so it is. A laborious read. And I gotta tell you, not an easy one either, particularly with whack, the coyote right in the center. And, you know, those twos being mirrored there, as well as 2 lovers cards from only 2 tarot decks. I get it, but also this doesn't feel like this needs to be done today. I would say go definitely check out last month's, see if that plays into this somehow. And do check your other signs, because if you already are pretty clear on what your work, career, vocation is, or are iffy about that, maybe there is. There's all sorts of scenarios, jumping off here from moving your home to jumping careers entirely. Maybe you find some guidance there. And again, if you want to book me, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Gmail, drop me a line. I'll be glad to book something with you. I'm doing, I think I have like 3 house calls this week. Yay! So excited to get back out there again. And check out my book, Words of Grace. You might find it helpful. $9.99 USD, cheaper than a pack of cigarettes here in the US. So you might find some stuff in there about bringing together particularly that 8th chakra stuff down into physical form. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. My honor, my privilege, my beloved Virgos, Virgo power, hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.